All right, many thanks for joining us this time for this week's edition of Talkpoint. My name is Oba Adeoye. This is how we do it every week on this platform. We look at issues trending in our society and try as much as possible to set agenda from the trends that we are watching from this end. A lot of things are happening in the country as we speak over the week, and we shall be taking a look at just one of them. The biggest, your guess is as good as mine. Now, during the week, news came that the Nigerian Army, that's the military, engaged in a face-off with members of the indigenous people of Biafra, otherwise known as IPOB, who have been seeking to secede from the nation Nigeria. They said they are tired of the arrangement. They are tired of being part of the country Nigeria, and the agitation has been on for a while. But I got to a head last week when the military swamped on the country home of the leader of that group. That's talking about Nnamdi Kanu. A lot of people call him Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, if you understand what I mean. Now, we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the reactions that have been trailing that development. A lot of reactions. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is reacting. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is reacting. Former President Goodluck Jonathan is reacting. And at the height of everything, the military came out to declare IPOB as a militant, as a terrorist organization. A terrorist organization. And a lot of people have kicked against that, while some people are giving kudos to the Nigerian military for taking such a stand. What is your stand? What is your take? What do you interpret? What do you make of all this? That is what we shall be taking a look at on this program tonight. You can also be part of this discussion by tweeting at me at Oba Adeoye 1 as in figure at Oba Adeoye 1, or at LTV Social. Those two handles we'll be using to communicate on the platform this evening. Okay, let's take a look at some trending tweets during the week, especially in reaction to the face-off between the army and the indigenous people of Biafra. A lot of people are tweeting about it. A lot of people, opinion molders, are tweeting about it. Let's take a look at some of the tweets that are trending on that social media platform. We'll be right back. Thanks again for joining us for this week's Talk Point. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us on Lagos Weekend Television, and this is Talkpoint. What do we do on Talkpoint? We try as much as possible to give perspectives to issues trending in our society. And I have two gentlemen in the studio with me. They have been following trends as far as that particular issue. I'm talking about the face-off between the Nigerian military and the indigenous people of Biafra, the secessionists. I'm talking about that face-off. This gentlemen in the studio with me have been following it, and they are here to help us understand it more from their own perspective. And in the course of the show, another gentleman, Lawrence Emenike, will be joining us via the phone line to also bear his mind about this particular issue. Let me quickly introduce my guest in the studio with me. I have, do I call him a returning now? Fred Latimo. He's a lawyer and he's here in the studio with us. Fred, nice to have you.
Always my pleasure.
How was your trip?
Fine. Cool.
All right, then. And Akogun Gani, Kayode-Balogun. Nice to have you back on this platform.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, gentlemen, you've been following the face-off, the development, that's the face-off between the Nigerian military and, of course, the indigenous people of Biafra, otherwise known as Operation Python Dance 2. And a lot of things have been happening as regards that development. Now, the Inspector General of Police has directed that over 500 police mobile force be deployed to that particular region. And just this evening, we heard that the leader of that body, that's Nnamdi Kanu, had approached the United Nations, the United States of America, the European Union, President of America, that's Donald Trump, Russia, Israel, and is alleging intimidation, torture, arrest, abduction, and killing of the people of the region by soldiers. A lot of people are worried. They are bothered. Fred, are you not worried that this may degenerate into something else?
Well, I think what Nigerians need to know is very simple. This is a harmless group. They are not armed. And this agitation has been on for quite a long time. But I think what is wrong is the approach of the federal government to the issue is something that they need to refine. Because we are Nigerians. Independent people of Biafra, they are Nigerians from the southeast. We are not fighting war with another country. It's not as if we're engaged in a combat war with our enemies. And these are our brothers and sisters. No strategic communication on the part of the Nigeria Army Public Relations Department and the generals who plan the Operation Python need to put into consideration that, look, we are not fighting an external war. We are here to correct issues because the agitation is from maybe injustice, all right? And if that injustice has to be corrected, then, of course, it's not Operation Python that should correct that injustice. And by the way, I have a problem with Operation Python.
Okay.
Because Python, when a python dances, is dancing to consume its prey. It's not going to dance to keep the prey alive. He sees a prey, he dances, he coils, positions, grab, swallow. And you can use that kind of, concept, military concept, for a matter that is internal. You get it? So, in the first place, the issue of Operation Python is uncalled for. Now, you arrested Kanu. You kept him for so long in the prisons, all right? Then you granted him bail on certain conditions. And the date he's supposed to appear in court is not now. It's in the little future, all right? So it's not as if he jumped bail or he didn't show up in court, okay? But just that maybe you are not comfortable with what he's doing, contrary to his bail conditions. And in law, what that means is that you just cannot preempt that until the day of the next adjournment. The day of the adjournment, then you can now do what you want to do. If Kanu does not show up in court on the adjournment date, then of course you can declare him wanted.
Okay.
Then if he shows up in court and he is in breach of the
bail conditions,
then it is the prosecution that will raise that issue to say that, look, he has breached his bail conditions.
Not the military or their pythons.
Not the pythons, not the military. It's the law.
Okay.
When the court is now in its wisdom, with evidence, say, oh, Carlo, when we granted you bail the other day, this is what we said we're going to do. But you deviated. And because of this reason, we are not going to trust you any further. So you are going back to Kuje prison or whichever prison.
All right, GKB, the military has declared that IPOB is a terrorist organization, and some people are beginning to react to it. And former Aviation Minister Femi Kayode said it is out of place for the military to declare IPOB a terrorist organization because they are not killing people, they are not bombing anything. And how come you are declaring that? Do you share that sentiment?
They did burn a mosque. They caused mayhem in certain parts of the southeast, and they were engaged in activities that any reasonable government will see as a sign of treason. You do not. Incidentally, it was an Igbo man, the late Adeoye, who said that
of blessed memory,
in a room of 20 people, the man with the gun is the majority. And that is a fact of life. We can quote all sections of the law that we want. We can grandstand as much as we want. But the reality is that there is no government on this God's earth that will allow the level of shenanigans that IPOB are going through and not react. The case in court is different from evidences against the group and what they were doing. Kanu as a person, remember they still have about 13 people in prison when their bail conditions could not be met. So it was only Kanu that was picked up. So those people could not meet the bail conditions, and nobody's talking about them. So when people come out and grandstand about Kanu, I laugh. Because the case of another government against IPOB is clear cut. For incitement, you are kept away. You are granted bail. After that, you came out, you are still inciting. But that's not the problem. You now cross the red line the moment you start starting up structures. Because under the UF indigenous factors that people are quoting, the red line is that you must not become an identifiable combatant. A man who says he's working for the Biafran Secret Service is an identifiable target. And therefore, you are daring the federal government to do whatever they can. And that's what they did. If you put your hand in my as you say in Ibadan, as you know, the man who says, what can we do, is the one we show it to.
But do we require the services of the military?
Is the federal
Why not the police?
Wait.
Is it not a civil?
Wait.
Okay.
Is the federal government heavy-handed? Of course.
Okay.
But were they pushed to a position to react? Yes. Did they overreact? Of course. So, but we must be able to put blames where they belong. It's not that we just do a blanket thing. Because personally, I keep telling people all my places I go to, the way people are taking the Kanu case, or the people from that region generally taking this case, it's like that of a 4-year-old who is just throwing tantrums. If you ignore him, he will throw more. If you beat him, they will say, "Can't you see, he's just a child?" So it's a catch-22 really. It's a no-win situation. Government cannot do enough. They will still blame them. If they didn't touch the man, they will tell you, you are looking at a man breaking you, and you are not doing anything. They touch him now, they say what you are doing is too much. There is no balance in this case. The military have the right, like they said. They are doing it everywhere. They are covering the entire southeast. It's not only Abia State. Okay. And Kanu is not in 6 states. It's only one location.
He has members in those states.
So they have the right. Don't also forget that the army force came into the southeast 3-4 years ago, when the kidnapping and robbery was very rampant. And remember, even before Kanu left prison, there are enough presence of the military in the southeast that people are even complaining that there are too many for a country not at war. So when people isolate cases and then put some sugar and some tea, I don't know, because they too in that position.
I don't know the sugar and tea you are talking about.
No, that's what I hear everywhere. Fine, the federal government action was excessive, but it must do something.
All right. We are hoping to connect with Lawrence Emenike. He's an able man. He's from the East, and we'll try and see if whether I share the sentiment with the gentleman in the studio. Fred, yes. you listened to him.
Yes,
I was expecting him to address frontally the declaration of IPOB as a terrorist organization. What would you say to
I have a problem with that.
Okay. I think we have Emenike on the line. Hello, good evening, Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, all right, good evening. Yes, I know you've been following the development. I'm talking about the face-off between the military and members of IPOB. Now, the military has declared IPOB as a terrorist organization, and the gentlemen in the studio here are trying to react to that. What is your own reaction to that particular declaration of IPOB as a terrorist organization by the military?
I think basically... Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Go on, please.
Yeah, can I speak?
Go on, Lawrence, go on.
Okay, I think basically one thing we need to understand here is that, let me use the quote of this Pastor Martin. You know, firstly, he said they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. You know, and they came for the unionists. You know, and I didn't speak out because I was not a unionist. But when they came for me, you know, there was nobody left to speak for me. So basically, why am I using this? I'm using against the backdrop of the statement of the man at the middle there, because it's clear that maybe he is not a Jew, neither is he a communist or a unionist or what. The fact of the matter here is that an injustice to one still remains an injustice to all.
Okay.
And we must get it right here.
Okay.
One, when somebody makes this assertion about a rich level government, you know, a man with a gun, as he rightly said there, I wanted to ask myself, who carries the gun? Because in Nigeria here, we know the group that was carrying guns. You talk about the Fulani herdsmen, you know, even when 2 or 3 days ago, somebody came up with a theory that the clash of the Fulani herdsmen and the farmers, the resolution is not on site. But then you look at people that are not armed, you know, when they talk about the careless talk of Kanu, the question you ask yourself is that whether careless talk, you know, has become an offense. You know, they claim he has an army, they call it DSS or BSS. And you ask yourself, you saw the men there wearing uniform, you know, and all the rest. Does that even suggest that this guy has those things or that capacity, which is not criminal, if you want to put it that way. So I think the reality here is that we might continue, you know, to argue on whatever basis or whatever side we are. But if you remember the first quote I made, I think this is the right time for Nigerians to stand up and be counted among themselves, because one, if we continue to allow this kind of thing to happen, evil really, according to one word, evil really looks evil until it accomplishes its goals. It gains entrance by appearing attractive, desirable, and perfectly legitimate. It is a better than camouflage trap, and we must know that. Okay. Because this thing that is continuing now today, so certain people maybe in their comfort zone might believe that it's okay. They will say, oh, it's a huru. But the fact of the matter is that we are heading towards a crisis that we might not even come out from it. You understand me? So I think the reality of today is that, one, when you look at the Southeast, the dispatchment, one of your guests here rightly put it right. When he talked about you sending Python. What is Python? You know, it goes to show the mindset of those that even sent them. An agenda is clear. What they went there to do is clear to everybody. And we must understand that and appreciate that. Okay. When you use the word Python, what is Python? You are going to bite and you are going to kill. Because the poisonous venom from the python is so deadly. I don't know if you understand.
Okay, all right.
One thing we must understand here is
Lawrence,
when the wife of the president made mention of jackals and hyenas, somebody like me felt concerned. You understand me? Because the reality of today is that what we are seeing now is not palatable. Okay.
All right, Lawrence, are you telling me that IPOB or Nnamdi Kanu, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Are you saying in essence that IPOB, I'm talking about the organization, Nnamdi Kanu and his supporters, have they approached this issue under the confines of the law? Have they done it the right way, the way it should be done?
You see, when you talk about the law, you understand me, the lawyers have spoken. The fact we must appreciate here is this. IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, everything that Nnamdi Kanu is suffering today was as a result of statement he made when he was outside the nation. And when he came back, the law took its place on him. This has went through the process of the law. He was jailed for 2 years. A court of competent decision granted him bail. You understand? You can also understand so many things that even happened before that bail was granted. On more than 4 occasions, the court has granted him bail that the government disobeyed. And this purely constitutional matter. And now you have granted him bail. If you felt, just like one of your guests rightly asserted here, that maybe he has done flout of the law. You allow the course of the law to take its course.
Okay.
You see, we have continued to box ourselves in a corner that tomorrow, when the results or the resultant effects start coming in, some of us that are there are relaxing in our cushions, thinking that it's because of the Southeast. We will see it. I want to give you a flashback. You will remember when President Fashion was passing through this particular issue when he was the leader of OPC. One Mr. Ogundanisi, the day that Fashion was supposed to appear in court, Mr. Ogundanisi said then he's outside the country that he is heading to Netherlands to declare for certain things and make the world to know. He even talked about having 4 million, 4 million followers or soldiers, and they have claimed 75,000. Until today, nothing happened. But when you use wisdom to tackle issues, that is when you get results.
All right.
I don't know who is in charge.
Lawrence,
honestly, my brother,
thank you.
I will tell you that something is wrong somewhere.
Okay.
I feel.
All right. Thank you very much, Lawrence.
It's not in charge again, and that is why you see some of these shenanigans going on about the activities of the military.
All right, Lawrence, thank you very much for being part of the program. We really appreciate you for your thoughts. All right, you listen to Lawrence.
Yes.
You want to react to him, or you want to continue from where you stopped? Okay.
You see, Lawrence has put the stuff on the table. You see, you don't need all of that. You don't need a Python dance. You know what IPOB is talking about? Injustice. Where I come from is Niger Delta. We had MED and the rest of them. They came out. And as at that time, the president of this country was an outside person from the north. He didn't waste time. Say, yes, Delta, Niger Delta, they produce oil. I don't see development there. These people are not happy. What can we do? Set up a commission. Set up and the man took proactive steps to address that issue. And today, as we speak, there's peace in Niger Delta. The Odua, under our brother, what's his name now? That young man.
Gani Adams?
Gani Adams?
Okay.
They were all over the place. You were in Lagos with me here. We were getting scared when they break eggs and it takes fire and they want to do something. And elders gathered and they professed solution. Political solution. Today, is Adam still in the streets? Do you still have the OPC boys around here anymore? No. Where are the Bakassi boys? They've all gone to sleep.
Is that not what the federal government is doing now?
Well, no, that is not it.
Okay.
But what the federal government is doing is wrong. You can't use a Python dance. You cannot declare...
You have a problem with the title of the operation.
Apart from the title,
okay.
Declaring IPOB as a terrorist group when those boys are not armed. They have not shot one single human being.
So you think
they did blow up central bank?
We should wait until they shoot somebody.
No, not waiting until they do that.
Because that's the implication.
I'm coming, sir. Look, let's not politicize this thing.
Okay.
We are all Nigerians.
I just want to know which point government has to react.
Whether we are from the north, south, west, or east.
It's irrelevant.
We are all Nigerians.
Where do they react?
Excuse me, sir.
At which point?
We are Nigerians. This matter is political. You granted that young man bail. We expected you to engage him further.
Okay.
Engage him and his group further. Talking about crisis management. Because you have to bring in critical issues.
But what do you expect the federal government to do when it goes about inciting people against the state?
There is no incitement.
Okay.
That incitement came
with a lot of statements on social media.
But if you
everywhere.
remember very well, that incitement came recently when this Python dance thing came up.
Really?
They didn't burn. There was no destruction of any police station in the east until the Python dance stuff.
The area police station.
Look, Oba, you are my friend. If you know that I want to cry right now, and you just give me a heavy blow on my face, it will push it out.
It will make it faster.
Yeah, it makes it faster. We don't need that. What the FG need to do, our president, President Muhammadu Buhari, a man of integrity, what he needed to do was that, look, iPod, Kanu, you are my son. As I've given to birth my children in my house, you also, you are my own son. Son said that, let happen.
Were you not expecting same GKB? Because even former President Olusegun Obasanjo said the only way out of this is to have a round table discussion.
Of course, yeah.
And Atiku Abubakar and Obasanjo for the first time They are sharing opinions.
Yes,
Say,
it's not
go
dance.
and have a discussion with these people.
Okay, sir,
are you talking about the same Oba who picked up who has already
no, excuse me, sir.
Before, I them up for 12 months. When you're out of power,
before he answers, let me just chip in this, sir. Before he answers, Oba, before he answers this question, if I have problem with you, and you give me a call 2 a.m. in the night or 12 midnight, maybe the first time I didn't pick it up, second time I didn't pick, third time I was okay. Let me just even listen to Oba. What has he got to say? I just say, Latimo, you know we have been friends for quite a long time. We need to talk about this. I love you. You know that. We have to settle this thing. This is a political solution. It's not a military solution. Because you know why? These guys are not happy. Just like the Oduas were not happy. Just like the people for Med was not happy. And again, there are recent development about appointments and all of that. Where the East, as a matter of fact, I'm from Nigeria Delta, I'm not from the East. I would say that the Easterners were actually relegated to the background on those appointments. They were not just there. And you don't bring anger, you don't bring annoyance.
GKB,
into the table.
It's obvious that you are not happy with his own analysis. You're expecting something else.
No, two things. Okay. We have to be careful here. Because when people make quotations out of context, it's funny. Why should they come for me when I have not done anything wrong? Why should you give an example of something that happened to other people? I can give you another example, I can give you another quotation that also go the other way. That the law is an ass, but you have to obey it. If they come for you, I've done something wrong. So let's take quotations out of the stuff. Let's take one by one. The OPC was formed basically for June 12th. It was direct, it was specific. During GAG's years, what's the name of the former president?
Okay.
People were relegated. People got massive appointments in the southeast. Nobody called anybody animals. People simply went back home and re-strategized. And tried to take a political decision and take it. There are structures on ground you can use to fight battles. Kano, or whatever name they call their group that is now banned, is not the face of the southeast. The face of the southeast are the elected members, are the members in the cabinet, are the leaders in the industries. Those are the face of every ethnic nationality in Nigeria. Those are the people that were under a democracy, voted for to lead them as part of a group to negotiate in the center. It is not his job.
Okay, who is the face of Boko Haram, for instance? No, you are talking about faces now.
Hold on.
Who is the face of Boko Haram? But federal government is right now negotiating with Boko Haram, and they are rehabilitating those boys. So who is the face of Boko Haram if you have to go that way?
As I was saying.
Who?
Before I was interrupted.
Yes, sir.
Two things.
We are Nigerians, you know that.
People said it's a political matter. I'm giving you political tools.
He's asking a question.
Yes,
that a Boko Haram, a faceless organization like Boko Haram, the federal government is negotiating with them.
The guy on the phone and this guy has said the federal government was high-handed because it's a political matter. I'm telling you the political structures that have been put in place to handle political matters.
Okay.
It's a reaction to what they said.
Which are those structures?
I've just listed the structures to you. They have senators, they have representatives, they have governors.
Okay.
They have House of Assembly, they have local government chairmen. They have structures as seen in the constitution to fight political battle. I'm very glad that you brought in Boko Haram because you are now accepting that IPOB is a terrorist organization.
It's not. I have never said so. I didn't say so.
Boko Haram is a terrorist organization.
No, sir. I didn't say so. And I don't think that IPOB is a terrorist organization. I refuse to accept that.
Okay. But you accept the fact that
so how come you are comparing IPOB with Boko Haram?
Because he's saying that he was making references. He was saying that Odua had an agenda that was political, right? But it was a security problem. Everything that has to do with security problem is a security problem. You don't have to say this one security problem is mild, the other one is major. No.
All right, gentlemen. Let me quickly tell our viewers that you can also be part of this discussion. Just drop a tweet for us. We are using two Twitter handles this evening. You can be part of the discussion. Ask your questions, make your comments known. Two handles. One of them is at Oba Adeoye 1. One is figure 1 at Oba Adeoye 1. The other handle is at LTV Social. Send your tweet to us, drop your messages there, and be sure that we read them on this platform. At Oba Adeoye 1, figure 1, and at LTV Social, we read them here.
Oba, what did President Yar'Adua did in his own time? The boy said they don't have jobs. They sent some for pilot training. Some are captain, almost captain.
But IPOB are not saying they don't have a job.
No,
they want to break away from Nigeria.
It's an injustice matter. It does not matter the title they gave to their group.
They already have a flag, they have a passport, they have almost everything.
That one is
all the state paraphernalia of an independent state.
When your wife is angry with you and he wants to leave your house, I don't know whether you have faced that challenge before. For those men, I have not, but I have seen my relations face that problem. When your wife is really angry, he wants to quit the marriage, the kind of words she uses on you and your family, the derogatory word, you'll be so surprised. It does not matter the kind of name and the structure that IPOB is forming. What is important is the strategic crisis management that the federal government needs to put in place. Okay? And then the army, for instance, for example, Oba, look at that Python's this thing. You know they denied that the Python dance was not meant for Kalu. It was a regular exercise. Now, as information dissemination people that are trained, and I know they are well trained in the military when it comes to information dissemination. Now, if you want to use that name Python dance, which you know is quite frightening, you just have to inform the people. You remember the other time at the international airport, when terrorism was here and the military were training,
yes,
and they used to announce on television that on day so, you are going to hear some gunshots at the airport. If you hear the gunshots, please don't panic, because we are training our men to combat terrorism. And if you are at the airport at that moment, you will never be panicked. So what stops the commandant of the Operation Python to now tell his foreign relations officer to say, look, go to radio and television, I'm coming. Go to radio and television and make an announcement
that the Python is about to dance.
Python is about to dance for 3 days. And when you see Python dancing, don't be scared. Because it's our normal routine. They never did that.
Okay, you know what? This crisis has spread to other states, Barrister Latimo.
Yes.
And you think it should still be handled with mild attention? Because if you, in Jos, for an instance, the crisis has spread there.
Yes.
In Port Harcourt, the crisis, and even the governor of Rivers State, that Wike, he said something about the IPOB. I don't know if my producer is ready for that. Let's take Governor Nyesom Wike's reaction to the IPOB development in Abia State that has spread to other parts of the country, including Rivers and Jos in Plateau State.
The Rivers State government is seriously concerned with the recent activities of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, IPOB, particularly the attack on Nigerian citizens living in Rivers State. Rivers people fully subscribe to Nigerians' corporate existence and its indivisibility. As a people, we shall continue to support the unity and peaceful coexistence of all ethnic nationalities and work towards actualizing our collective aspirations for a just, inclusive, and progressive nation. Inasmuch as we share common concerns about the structural problems of the country, we believe that dialogue, not violence, remains the best way to resolve contending political issues. We therefore pray the federal government to initiate meaningful national dialogue to peacefully resolve the structural challenges that threaten Nigerian stability and progress. Once again, to condemn in clear terms the deliberate sabotage of the state security architecture by the direct criminal activities of the Rivers State Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS.
All right, you see watching Talkpoint, and that was the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike reacting to the spillover of the IPOB and the Army face-off to some parts of River State, Oyigbo precisely, and some neighboring communities in that area. Now, GKB, I'll come to you. Yes, I'll come to you now.
Is it possible to talk on this program?
It's not by patronage.
Maybe I should
the man measure patronage in this broadcast.
What's the problem?
All right, GKB, the governor is...
Come on, continue demand that you let me talk.
He said national dialogue.
GKB, the governor is advocating for dialogue.
Dialogue, not a patronage. The man did not say patronage.
She wants for dialogue.
Anybody can say what they like. It doesn't change the facts on the ground. Government,
you are not a subscriber to the idea of going on to a round table to have a discussion about this issue.
Oh God.
That is the way out.
GKB.
Look, GKB, sir.
Please, can I talk?
Let's
go ahead.
Go on, GKB.
I don't understand.
I'm just being your brother. We are all Nigerians.
No, I don't need help.
You are my brother, and I've
been doing this for many years.
I love IPOB.
The point is this.
Easterners are my brother.
The point is this. Don't isolate issues.
Okay.
There are problems in the country. Unemployment is not the problem of a particular area.
Okay.
Kidnapping, as you know, in the last 2 years, is not the problem of a particular area. On the average, there are problems and challenges within the system. Things are not working. It's not peculiar to a particular area. And like I said earlier, this agitation is basically political based because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when a particular section of the country was controlling the government, we didn't see anybody complaining and raising issues about this matter. Other people did the normal thing. Went back home, strategized, and tried to get power. That's how it's done all over the world. There is no way that we can say anything different from what he's saying. He's an officer of the state. He cannot automatically say people should now take laws in their own hands. His job is to ensure there are peace and stability. And let me tell you, if there are no peace and stability in River State, the federal government will not hesitate, and it will affect its own job, to declare a state of emergency. So what the governors are saying is in tandem with the reality of their own positions. That I understand. But the point I keep making, when people keep dancing, snake dance, whatever they dance, whatever they are trying to defend the indefensible, is the fact that as a father, I cannot stand by and allow a child throw tantrums beyond a particular point. He will be disciplined. What is going on now is just a show of force. Okay. People have not said, Army has gone to somebody's house and burnt it. It has not been done. They've not said they've arrested people. It's not been done. All these are still in the realm of conjecture and propaganda. Because I just came back from River State, and the point is that when people talk, I keep asking people, they say they heard. They heard. I heard. Nobody has pointed to anybody that the Army has killed. Nobody has given me names of people at their compound that they've been shot. We keep going around in circle and pretending that things are not bad. They are. But that doesn't change the fact that the way you address people is the way you'll be addressed. The IPOB decided that everybody else is an animal and they'll be treated as such. It's common sense. Okay,
gentlemen, as we custom on this issue, where do we go from here? Whether we like it or not, the face-off between IPOB and the Army will have left some traces back there in Abia State. Where do we go from here? Now, a lot of people are saying that Nnamdi Kanu has breached a lot of Nigerian laws, including the bail conditions, where he was told not to be in company of more than 10 people, and quite a lot of things. Where do we go from here, Barrister? You are a lawyer.
What should concern us here is that we have a problem in our hands. This is exactly what we said. We used derogatory words on the Boko Haram when they started. And some people came on television and they were speaking grammar and they were listening up with some ingredients to say that they are nobody. And we have spent billions of our national resources on Boko Haram and we are nowhere yet. They are still a problem to us. Now, if you say also that we should not dialogue with IPOB, and therefore IPOB, and therefore they go underground also, like the Boko Haram, then you are tackling Boko Haram in the north, and you are tapping IPOB in the east. What would that mean to you? That means to you that this country is in problem. That's what I say we should avoid. So going forward, the federal, like Wike said, like Governor Wike of River State said, come to a national table. It's not an entire country. Call the leaders of the Southeast. Let them meet with Mr. President. Meet with the structure of this country, people who govern this nation. and then let them provide solution to what is going on. Okay. And then whatever they agree on, and Kanu and his men must be at that dialogue, and then whatever they agree on is a communique.
Okay, all right. Let's quickly take
we are just encouraging a sense of entitlement.
Military must be out of it.
We are running out of time.
Keep
Let's take
military out of it.
And maybe you can react to this tweet, one or two sentences very quickly. This is coming from Sandra Ugama. I hope I got that right. At the handle, Sandra_UNI. He said, Mr. Gani must say the truth and stop talking about the Southeast controlling the economy during Jonathan's regime. I want you to react to that. But let me read everything. Let me read everything so that you can react to it. Also, this came from Adeoye Rakib Yusuf. He said, Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB formally informed the federal government of Nigeria of their agitations. To me, their quest is baseless. That's from Adeoye. And from Talks, at Talks 19.3 M, he said, good evening. Why can't we ask the military to give their interpretation of Python dance, unquote? Thereafter, we can comment objectively. Do we have more? Okay, those are the ones for now. Gentlemen, let me start with the GKB. You want to react to some of this?
I wasn't lying.
Okay.
So that was the facts. So you can verify. You can go into Google and search those who control the economy during Jonathan's era. I don't need to add anymore.
So during Jonathan's era, there was no uprising in
the Southeast? There was no uprising in the Southeast. Nobody was fighting. Nobody was talking about marginalization. I know lawyers were coming out to defend him.
In crisis management,
we are going.
In crisis management, you don't go into blame games. Government is in your hands already. You don't have to go into yesterday. What can you do as a government to distinguish yourself? Right. From the previous administration, so that you can position yourself and say, oh, you are better than the previous administration. So for JKB to say that, yesterday is wrong. Let Mr. President take the advice of majority, not minority.
And do the needful.
And do the needful.
All right,
come to the table. Let's discuss this matter.
Thank you, Barrister. This came from Akomolafe Olushola. He said, though Kanu and his IPOB have heard, but I believe FG shouldn't have taken the decision it took. Dialogue is still the best at this time. Thank you for that tweet. And gentlemen, I must thank you very sincerely for being part of this program. We are building a new nation.
It's been fun.
And when you get passionate about issues, you get to stay on different sides of the divide. GKB, thank you very sincerely.
It's always a pleasure.
And Barrister Latimo, thank you. Having come from a long distance and then quickly, you oblige us. Thank you very much. And thank you, viewers, for being part of this discussion. We are building a new nation. And when that happens, discussions like this will happen. On behalf of the production crew led by Sheung Abimbola, the engineers, the cameraman, the floor manager, Mr. Sunday, thank you very sincerely. My name is Oba Adeoye. Talkpoint returns to your screen next week with another trending issue. But before then, remember that you've got a role to play in making Nigeria a greater again. See you next week.